All right, welcome to another episode. So after SmackDown Live last night, they had on the network the Talking Smack show, which is pretty good. It's become almost must see, thanks in part to some recent promos by The Miz when he's been out there with Daniel Bryan. So they kind of jumped on that show. It's become pretty interesting, and overall, like I've said, SmackDown is much more interesting and better all around than Raw. Eh, if you like the in ring action, SmackDown is the show for you. If you like the more of storylines and the sports entertainment aspect with some wrestling sprinkled into it, then Raw's your cup of tea. Uh, Whatever. But anyway, getting back to this, uh, you see the title, John Cena's a phony. And if you guys are familiar with my channel, you know I don't really like John Cena. I'm not the only one. Uh, I don't like Roman Reigns. So if you guys, or girls, if any of you are one of those fans that get hurt and get upset if somebody says anything about your heroes, these videos aren't for you. So thank you, and you can tune off and hit the dislike, do whatever you want. Uh, Apparently, yes, there are a lot of fans who feel like I do. They make their voices heard in the arena. They make their voices heard in the ratings, and and so forth. So last night on SmackDown, the phony he returned. Cena returned on SmackDown and started burying the new era. The new era was BS. It was his. It was still his time, and he made himself the number one contender because he's John Cena recognized. Yeah, he never gives up. He never gives up. That's right. That's just like his stupid gimmick says. He never gives up. So we're never going to get the new era because he doesn't give up. He's always going to be around. So anyway, getting to the start of the Talking Smack show, we'll get right into it because another thing is not too many people could pay attention for more than 10 seconds. So the show opens up with JBL, who's the kiss ass. He's a kiss ass, and he starts bad mouthing his commentating partner Mauro Ranallo, who, by the way, is one of the big reasons that SmackDown is better than Raw compared to the Raw announce team of Michael Cole, WWE, who's the most boring commentator I ever heard in my life, and his other lackeys of Brian Saxton. If it wasn't for Corey Graves, that show would be completely unlistenable to. So anyway, he tells Renee that he blocked Mauro Ranallo on Twitter, and Renee tells him, "Oh yeah, he kind of retweets too much." There they go, burying Mauro Ranallo, because you see that's what WWE does. The only when somebody is actually good and gets over and is liked by the fans, they bury them because unless it's them promoting them, they bury you. And he starts kissing Renee Young's ass and complimenting her. And then in comes the phony John Cena. He enters, and then they start talking. Talking to him about the Allstate Arena and how it's the most vocal crowd. He goes, "Yeah, I'd say it might be one of the most vocal crowds in WWE." No, it's the most vocal because they always, yeah, they used to be cool with them. Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, cities like that. They used to be called the smart towns, the smart towns. But now every almost every city's a smart town. The people are wise to the business, and of course the Chicago and the All-State Arena, which is not the old Chicago Arena. It's a different arena. It's a different crowd than the old school Chicago crowd. And all they do now is chant CM Punk, CM Punk. Even though the guy's been gone for 2 years and he doesn't really give a damn about WWE or the fans. And I mentioned the other day about what Stephanie McMahon said about CM Punk, how she insulted him. Uh, so anyway, he says, yeah, it's the most vocal crowd. Of course, last night, upon his glorious return of his long absence of 2 months, oh my God, 2 months without John Cena. What would the world do without John Cena for 2 months? Uh, how they shit on him. The crowd shit on him. They serenaded him with the John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. He got maybe 30% booze. He started doing his dumb promos, and he trying to pander to the crowd, and nothing worked. And then he became a hype man and hyped up the SmackDown episode and the championship matches and so forth. He sucks. So then JBL asks him about the landscape of the WWE in his absence, and he says, "Oh, it's been pretty well maintained, just like a good garden. Who cares? What do you think? WWE's gonna go away in your absence? Who are you? You're nobody. John Cena was the he was handpicked, and he's been promoted by WWE. Even a while back, I think last year on Raw, during a segment with him and Stephanie McMahon, uh, leading up to WrestleMania, John Cena says, "Oh, you realize this is the third WrestleMania without John Cena the main event?" She's like, "Oh, so what?" And she put him in his place. For once, I actually applauded Stephanie. She said, "You think what? You think WWE's going to collapse it at you?" Oh, you? Oh no, you. She said, "What? Yeah, what would you? What would the WWE be without John Cena? No, what would John Cena be without the WWE?" And he's like, "Oh." Scratch, acting fake and scratching his head like he always does when he's nervous. It's true. That's the truth. That was a work shoot promo, or but that was just to appease the fans. But anyway, so and then he goes on to praise the current talent, and he says it's the best in the last 15 years, the best since his own class of back in 2002 of Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Batista, and you can even throw the Miz in there. But yeah, he's right about that. Just for a while, I have said, and that's one thing I've defended Cena on, was from about 2007, 2008 to about 2011. WWE was pretty scarce with talent, and that was probably due to the effect. That was the first effect felt from the fallout of ECW and WCW going out of business. Now wrestlers, there was no wrestlers being developed by other promotions that were already made. It was only independents. So that was the first wave of the ramifications felt by that. But of course, I've admitted, when people say he buried this guy and he buried that guy, which he did, but there were some stars that WWE did try to build up, like Jack Swagger and Del Rio, and even the Miz. He won the belt in 2010, and he probably wasn't ready for it at that time. So, but they did try, but they failed. But anyway, this now, yeah, the last year and a half, 2015, and now these last 2 years, WWE is now stacked. But so now, are they going to do with it? So, and he's a phony because, see, this is why he's a phony, and this is the whole crux of this video. He's a phony because he's a two-face. He speaks out of both sides of his mouth. Is he the hero? Is he the hero, John Cena? Is he the never give up? Is he the guy who kisses babies, or is he a phony and he's all out for himself with his big ego and his passive aggressive comments? In his promo, he says he's tired of the new era BS, and it's still the my time is now era. So he's basically saying as long as he's here, it's his time. It's his spot. He's in the number one spot. So there you go. And he does this a lot, and we'll go through this in this episode. He talks out of both sides of his mouth, and his actions are phony. That's what it's two face. When somebody calls someone a two face, that's what it is. They say one thing 1 minute, and then they say another thing another. They contradict. It's two contradictory things. So which one are you? That's one of the most dangerous people to have around, because you don't know what's the truth. At least if somebody is bad and they talk crap all the time, you respect them more because at least they're upfront about it. So and then JBL references that Michael Cole calls John Cena the greatest superstar in the greatest superstar in WWE history. Screw off, kiss ass. I'm sure he's being told to say that. And what's the WWE history? The last 10 years? Give me a break. What a slap in the face to to every champion and every superstar that's ever walked in, wrestled in a WWE ring or in a pro wrestling ring for that matter. What a slap in the face! This is why, and they don't care, WWE. They don't care, but this is why guys like John Cena and Roman Reigns, they get backlash and they get booed because they're promoting these guys as the greatest of all time when they're not. They're not even the greatest of the decade, of the year. And you, God forbid, you can't tell Cena fans this because that's their hero. They grew up with this guy. He's their Yankees. He's their Patriots. He won all the Super Bowls and all the World Series, and they're brainwashed by this guy. You can't say anything wrong about it. You can't, God forbid, you can't say anything. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of comments and dislikes on this video. I don't really care. I got to say the truth. The JBL then tries to sort of correct it. He says, "Well, at least one of the greatest superstars of all time." Yeah, all right. What kayfabe? Yeah, he's of course. If I got booked to win 15 championships, I'd be the greatest superstar of all time. I wouldn't say he's in the top 50. How about that? The only thing I will say about him is as he has pulled it off somewhat, and he just pursues the sharks. He gets booed in somehow, some way. He just manages to pander and swindle the crowd, and he brainwashes people. And so does WWE, the greatest superstar of all time. And I hate that, the goat. John Cena's not the goat. The goat. Screw off. So then JBL talks about he moves. The conversation goes to how now Cena is considered a part timer, and he even referenced that in his promo. And JBL asks about what about the time when you called The Rock a part timer, and this is where Cena sees the phony comes off again. Oh, he says it was some of the dumbest stuff I said, and he praises The Rock and kisses The Rock's ass, saying he's one of the highest paid movie actors of all time now, and he transcended the business, and he's right. And he says it was my way of trying to bring The Rock back at that time by hitting him in a soft spot. No, it wasn't. It was you trying to embarrass The Rock, and it was you trying to make yourself feel endear yourself to the fans and say you're here and he's not, and you were trying to say The Rock was a phony back then, that he didn't really care about WWE. He just came back for a paycheck. Like what? What does John Cena do? What does he wrestle for free? What a phony. And what? And he says, oh, and then to protect himself, he says, every superstar when they get a chance to leave and do something outside of it, they do it. And he said the Miz and Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton, they do the same thing, and he'll do the same thing, like Cena, SNL. Yeah, but you know what? The difference is with The Rock. The Rock took off. He did become one of the biggest movie stars, and he didn't have to come back to WWE. He got bigger than the WWE. So is John Cena going to get bigger than the WWE with his new movie coming out next year? The Wall. I doubt it. And one of the last videos I made, people got upset when I actually suggested that it's highly unlikely that John Cena is going to reach the same success as The Rock in Hollywood. Oh my God, you can't say anything bad about John Cena because I'm a hater. Get a life. And then more crap. JBL brings up the 16 title reigns of how what a record it is. The 16 titles of Ric Flair, and John Cena has 15. And everybody, a lot of the fans who are my way of thinking, and if you're watching, probably are dreading this, and they don't like it. To tell you the truth, I don't really put big stock in how many times somebody won the belt. It just means you lost 15 times, and it just means you got scripted. You got booked 16 times to win the belt. I put more stock in it if in the duration of the belt, of the title reign, like a Bruno Sammartino who held the belt for 8 years, took a year off and then came back and held it for 4 years. Even Bob Backlund 5 years, or even Hulk Hogan who held it for 6 years. And even recently CM Punk, who held it for almost 2 years. That shows you have lasting power, and longevity, and people don't get tired of having you with the belt. But see, I all see this 15 title reigns. I think he only held the belt. His longest reign was for a year, I think, and every other reign was averaged about 2 months, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. In other words, he won the belt for 2 3 months and then lost it in a couple of pay-per-views. He was John Cena. If you really go back and look at it, John Cena is was the face of the company, but he was like 1A. He was like always the emergency that Vince McMahon would always just pull the lever, press the panic button, and just put the belt on Cena whenever another star didn't work out. The greatest of all time. Give me a break. And I'm just gonna move on. And and then JBL has the audacity to say that the 16 title record is like a record like Babe Ruth. Are you kidding me? A record like Babe Ruth. Give me a break. And so John Cena, he comes back. He says he's upset by all the gossip in the locker room that he keeps hearing, and they have me at the door, and they're calling him Hollywood John, and they think I'm gone. No, they want you gone. The wrestlers want you gone. Us fans want you gone. We've been sick of you. We don't want you. We don't want. It pains us to see you on back on TV. So then the WWE champ AJ Styles enters, and he references to what Cena tried to do out there when he extended his hand. He goes, "I know what you tried to do out there. You tried to big league me. That's what the handshake was all about." And Cena's like, "No, no, no, that was out of respect." He's like, but I'm gonna punk you at the Royal Rumble." He does puts the stupid smirk, like that passive aggressive smirk that he has when the fans boo him, and he tries to put the phony smile on, and then AJ says, "Oh yeah, well really, like you did at SummerSlam." And here the phony John Cena only loses when he has an injury. He goes, "Oh yeah, the first half of this year, I wrestled with a destroyed shoulder," but he comes back, right? He gets injured, and they say he's going to be out for 9 months. Then he comes back in 3 months. He's a superhero, but then when he comes back and he loses, oh, it's because I was hurt. That's what I mean. Phony, phony. We saw it with Daniel Bryan when he got injured. When he had the elbow, the cyst in his elbow. And Daniel Bryan beat him clean on SummerSlam, and the next night he comes out in the phony. Remember, he said, "Oh, I got to give it to him. He was the better man." And then about 15 times he showed the ball on his elbow, and yeah, I'm leaving to get surgery. Yeah, so he's telling his weak-minded fans, I lost because I got hurt," and he's telling everybody he lost to AJ Styles all these times, and the reason why he hasn't won too much is because he has a destroyed soldier, right? Yeah. Okay, excuses, excuses. Then Cena says if AJ keeps saying that he didn't like the fact that he tried to punk him, and he's like, and Cena says if I wanted to punk you out there, I would have. Yeah, I'm sure he would have. He would have buried him because see, Cena. That's another thing. A lot of his fans don't realize. Maybe not a lot of fans. He has the freedom and creativity to go off script, and he could shoot. Unlike most 99% of the stars who can't shoot, they'll probably get punished if things don't go well if they shoot. So AJ Styles comes back and says, "Oh yeah, oh really?" He goes, "Well, I'll do what I do best, and that's beat up John Cena." And then he tells him, "It's a good thing you can't beat up AJ Styles." And Cena puts on the stupid smile, and he puts his hat back on, and then he tries to play it off. He says, "See," Renee Young says, "Oh well, that was awkward." And he says, "Well, that's what I do. I get in awkward situations." And he starts going back to. He starts saying that that's an example of they think I'm washed up, and that he's damaged goods, and he's seen as Hollywood, and he says I'm here to stay. Yeah, we know you're not going anywhere because nobody wants you. There is nothing for you to do. You're not that talented. You're not as good as you're booked, promoted to be, as your fans are brainwashed to think they are. And again, he says again, I'm sick of about hearing about this new era. So see, there he goes. In one breath, he praises the new era and the talent, and then in the next breath, he buries them. Yeah, it's kayfabe. I understand. I'm not dumb. I know how wrestling works, but it's the character. we know it's the character. I know it. Do his fans know it? I know it's the character talking, and probably him a little bit. But he says, "I'm tired about hearing the new era." He's just getting warmed up. He's turning 40 next year, and he says he's just getting warmed up. This is the new John Cena. And he's saying this crap about how in the past he had a few wild he had a wild nights and he used to party a little bit. That's what he's trying to reference, and he didn't focus as much. So all this time, the last 12 years that he won 15 championships, he's trying to say he did it by partying, and he didn't focus as much. But he says, and then he compares himself with Triple H, the game. And he says Triple H is the master of psychology inside the ring. And he says this is the new John Cena with a new focus, and plus with all the experience that he possesses, he feels that this is going to be a new and improved push for him. Oh my God, more improved than Super Cena. And then he buries AJ Styles again, and he references AJ Styles. He says, "Oh, that young man, you're the same age. That young man, he's been wrestling a long time, but he's only been in a few good matches." So there's WWE burying AJ Styles and burying anything outside of WWE. AJ Styles has fought big matches all over the world. He's fought in Japan. Yeah, we know he hasn't fought under the big lights of WWE, but he sure this damn proved he fits right in, and he would have fit right in all this time. And then JBL, the kiss ass, who always calls the phony Cena Big Match John, and he tells him you've been in more big matches, with the exception I'll probably say than Bruno Sammartino. What a joke! What a joke! So he's had more big matches than Hulk Hogan, who headlined 6 WrestleManias, who headlined Starcade, the biggest pay-per-view in WCW history, who headlined Saturday Night's Main Event in 1988 with Andre the Giant that drew 33 million views. He headlined more than Ric Flair. He's had more big matches than Ric Flair. Ric Flair had a career of 1 hour classics against Steamboat, Sting, you name it. The list goes on. Are you kidding me? This is why. And if you're that gullible to believe this crap, then that's what you are. You're a Cena fan who's hook, line, and sinker. And if you like John Cena, again, I don't have a problem with that. But come on, do you actually hear this stuff and do you actually believe it? So and he goes on to say he's going to be 40. He has a lot more to prove, and he's just getting up. And Renee Young's like, "Ooh, I like this new John Cena. I like it. Give me a break." And again, Cena, it's not the new era. It's the my time is now era. It's been your time. It's been the last 12 years have been your. It's been the my time is now. Now your time is over. It's been over. And he keeps saying this to keep brainwashing the fans. But his time is over. WWE has moved on from him, and they tried to make Roman Reigns the face of the company, but Roman Reigns sucks even more. He gets booed even more than Cena, and he has, if you could believe it, less charisma, and he sucks on the mic. But anyway, he leaves, and then they bring in the new tag team champs who won last night on SmackDown in the tag team match, the American Alphas, who I'm very high on. They're two big baby faces. Meaning, I'm not talking about their size, but uh, two big baby faces, all American guys. You know, they have all the talent in the world, and I've especially said I'm very high on Jordan. I think he's a future WWE champion. I think he'll probably be the guy. I think he will be the guy. He's much more talented in the ring than 90% of the roster. Gable's right up there, but I don't think he has quite the look that fits the top guy. And I'm always saying that because that's how WWE thinks. But anyway, they're the new champs, and I see that they could go. These two could go a long way. They could go They could spend 2017 as tag team champions. Maybe if they lose a couple times, I could see them having 2, 3, 4 title reigns in a year, a year plus. And then what I see from them, I think the way to go, which WWE eventually splits up teams, especially teams with talent. When one guy has a talent, in this case two, they'll split them up and they'll probably feud against each other. They'll probably have a good long feud of set of matches against each other. And then I think when that feud ends, they'll give one guy, which is Jordan. I think they'll give him the main event push, and he'll probably win the title. But that's probably we're looking probably at 2018, mid 2018, 2000, late 2018. Who knows? And then yeah, and then they mentioned the Wyatts. Uh, I would have thought the Wyatts would have held on at least a little longer, but they have WWE has no interest in the Wyatts. If you can't, and I know I have my friend James, who he's a big Bray Wyatt fan and Wyatt family fan, and I told him a million times they have no interest. And you could clearly see that was their first gold for Bray Wyatt. If you want to say it was his title, can't even hold it for 2 weeks. They don't. They just they consider the Wyatts a glorified jobbers. So anyway, then Dean Ambrose comes in with his tough guy act, and he references the Miz, and JBL talks about how he's a little rough looking, and his hair is messed up, and he get him new suits. And Dean Ambrose says, "You trying to?" That sounds like insults, and I can't believe it. He punked. He absolutely bitch smacks verbally JBL. He tells him, JBL, I'll slap the piss out of you. This is JBL. What the hell happened to this guy? This guy, JBL, was in the APA, John Bradshaw Layfield. What happened to him? He sits there all scared. He's like, well, I'm 50 years old, and that's why I'm retired. And he pretty much got punked. And Ambrose was over the top, trying to look scary and doing his unhinged persona. He even made his girlfriend awkward and uncomfortable. She even said it, and she told him to sit down. And he was just talking about how he's gonna take it to the Miz, whatever, and he compliments his girlfriend a little bit, Renee Young. They acknowledge that, and JBL says, "Do you think it's a conflict of interest, Renee, that you're reporting on him and you're dating him?" Which is surprising. Now they turned this into the story, but this is all because they're going to be on Total Divas or the spinoff show. Everything they do is for a reason, and who cares? Who cares? Everybody knew about this. The WWE thinks that unless they acknowledge it, it doesn't exist. That's where they're out of touch. Everybody, I guarantee you, 70%, 60% of wrestling fans knew that Dean Ambrose and Renee Young were a couple. But unless in WWE's mind, unless they acknowledge it, it doesn't. It's not. It doesn't exist. That's where they're out of touch. And as that Vince McMahon, they've been doing that forever. Where something is well acknowledged, they even if you go back to the '80s with the Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, they were married. Although WWE never acknowledged it publicly, but then they did get married on TV after they got divorced. But anyway, who cares? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I had to say my piece on John Cena, the phony. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. I'm tired of it. This is another round of kissing his ass. He's not the GOAT. He sucks. He's trash. He's garbage, and he's a phony. And that's what I think. It's my opinion. Okay. So tell me what you think. Like and subscribe, and I'll be making more videos soon. Talk to you later.